All right. Well, good luck to both of you. And in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck. Baby. Good luck, Jaaski.
All right. We are in for game number 2 here. Northernlion versus jaaski, the marquee matchup of the week. Two of the strongest players from last week going head-to-head here, as Ryan immediately taking a lead there. We'll give him that one, as he instantly has made some really good progress. And you can already see, I think we've tiered up in play so far, as jaaski as well making progress, but Ryan just flying. And I can tell you right away, both these players are beating this map. Just from these first few seconds, I can tell you both of these players will beat the map. Who will beat it first? Jaaski and Ryan basically tied. We'll give the lead to jaaski there, as I think he died slightly further on the saw. But man, just an absolute, just blistering pace from both these competitors, as they have made already an incredible amount of progress. But we'll see how they fare. Ryan with an incredibly questionable death there. We'll see how they fare on the falling thwomp section, the first kind of big challenge of this section, and the final challenge of this section as well. Both players taking it slow on these jumps, but you can see how instantly they've understood the mid jumps. Jaaski as well. He does take a bit of a full jump there. Takes another death on that same saw, but this is going to be a potentially very close matchup. Both players just, I think, understanding the nature of the map very, very quickly, and already showing that they're here to potentially get a very early win. As Ryan making good progress here, but clips the saw there. Doesn't quite pass jaaski in terms of progress, but we're still essentially tied 2 minutes in to this first thing. Jaaski takes the same death that Ryan did earlier on that first thwomp. Ryan with good progress here takes the lead. Big jumps here. We saw this from Mathis, making blistering progress. Look at this. He flies into the saw, but a huge lead opened up from Ryan there, as you can see him making it through the spiny section and gaining a huge lead on jaaski here. And we're looking now towards the consistency for him. We're still seeing if jaaski can break through this first series of jumps. Taking it still slowly, but again, that slow pace does make it a bit harder. You can see Ryan taking the faster pace, and that's helping him here. Jaaski probably going to need to work on his speed there, as he clips the edge there. We saw Dan do that a full couple of times, but Ryan, we'll see how he's sounding here.
I wish eggs gains could get you to tell a friend.
Already into the song parody mode.
Go. You know, this has like a little rock DJ beat, you know? Singing for the masses, music for the classes. Give no head, no backstage passes. I'll be to be quite polite, but if you rock the mic, you'll rock the mic right. Got no love and you're with the wrong man. It's time to move your body. You can't get a girl, but your best friend can. It's time. Yeah, that'll work, baby. That'll work.
He's looking for a BPM to match his spin jump, so he can keep his momentum through the course. But already, Ryan flying through this map. Jaaski's struggling a little bit early here. Is Ryan trying to figure out the falling thwomp? But he's figured it out quickly, and he is already very close to this first checkpoint. Ryan could have such a quick victory here if he keeps this pace. We'll listen on jaaski here, as he seems to be falling more closer to Mathis and Dan here, as he's struggling early.
M for that jump, to save myself from like either pressing the jump button too early or running straight into the saws.
Again, the speed here, an issue for jaaski. He's taking that a little bit too slow. But Ryan kind of falling back a little bit here.
Fuck! Every time I commit to the jump, I always go too high. I find the height, and then I go too high when I commit to the jump. Ah!
And both players, I mean, both players still. It seems like this first spiny section is kind of the issue for all four of the players here. Is it seems like Ryan had it early on, but now he seems to be struggling a bit more on it, which is what we've seen with the other competitors. But you can see when he gets it, like right there, it's just the flow of it is really what gets him going. And he flies through the second section so cleanly. But
I had no belief. I had 0% belief there. Try again. Everybody's going off the deep end. Everybody needs a new romance. Yeah. You want a piece of my shard? Better shard from the shard. Oh, just a little too much rightward momentum. Just a little too much rightward momentum. Okay. Start left. Go right. Start left. Go right.
Ryan seems to, I mean, I feel like he's on Mathis's pace where Mathis was 30 minutes into the first run. So you gotta feel like Ryan's pace is exceptional right now. Jaaski looking to maybe do a little bit of cheese there, I think. He's trying to skip the jump there. The second jump by just going off the first spiny. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if he's going to try it again. I think he is trying to do it again. It'd be an interesting strat. I think it's going to be harder than the original intended way, because you see Ryan already making it through there again. Very clean onto the falling thwomp, but underneath the next falling thwomp section. And Jaaski, he's going to need to make some significant progress. I feel like Jaaski's actually fallen very far behind. Doesn't look that way. Both players still in the first section, but Ryan is a man of consistency, and he has really shown that he's here to play. So Jaaski needs to make it out of this spiny section if he's going to want to make or keep this race close. You can see Ryan just not struggling with the spiny section at all, whereas Jaaski's still having issues with it. Back to the falling thwomp. Ryan seems to have the timing to this one down, but a bit lacking on the momentum there. I know, too small of a jump there from Jaaski, as Ryan's still flying through here. We'll see how he...
All his beehives.
Still going for the song parody
It
strat.
almost worked. Let's try again. My Malfi takes the morn. Okay, well, that one's not going to work. That one's not going to work.
Let's listen on Jaaski. He seems to be still struggling here on this spiny
But
section.
it's a part of my skill set that is sorely lacking.
Still not quite figuring that jump out. Ryan's struggling with the falling thwomp, though, so he's definitely slowed down in terms of pace. He's done it. Jaaski's finally makes it through the spiny section for the
There's
first
more of
time.
them. Okay, so that's not full again. Because if you hit the ceiling there, you lose a lot. Or you pull back. You like pull back momentum a bit. I don't know. I don't think you want to hit the ceiling, because hitting the ceiling sends you on a really rough downward trajectory. So I think, again, it's a mid-jump. Fuck.
Jaaski assessing the objectives later on. One of his strong points is ability to assess objectives once he gets to them, but he is still greatly struggling with this spiny section, and Ryan just doesn't seem to have any issues with it at all so far. And I don't think he's had a single time to the single spiny either. It's just the... Oh, well. Unfortunately for Ryan, this is the end of his run here. He could technically... No, I think maybe there was a... No. I'm looking at it. I don't think there's a way to do it. Jaaski, though, needle moving, making more progress, catching up here. If he can get consistent on that section, he can bring this one back already. Ryan, again, slowed down by the falling thwomp. He has made it through, but he's triggered the first thwomp, and I don't think he can get to the second one. He can. He almost had it there. Almost an amazing recovery. But he has finally seen the third and final thwomp section there. And with that kind of knowledge, he could very easily get this first checkpoint early on. He just is not dying anymore either is huge for Ryan. He's taking almost no deaths in the first half of this section 1. Onto the falling thwomps. Good timing, but too low. He realizes it has to go faster. And I think Jaaski is having an issue here where Ryan is going to get this first checkpoint within the next few minutes, if not even on the next run. His pace is just... Not his pace, rather, but his consistency is just perfect right now. And here we go. This could easily be it. And it is. Just like that.
Don't go for the checkpoint league. Don't even sign up.
11 minutes in. Ryan has a checkpoint. He's onto the track.
Now this is pod racing. I'm familiar with this. I've seen this before.
Now the pressure is on for Jaaski. He's going to know that Ryan has the first checkpoint.
Safety is not guaranteed. Why wouldn't you just keep bouncing in the middle? Why wouldn't you just keep bouncing in the middle? It's me. Guy doing an impression of Peaky Blinders, but I've never seen it. Oi, mate. I'm Tom freaking Hardy here. Macros, I've never seen it. Don't type my name with the Pascal.
Let's listen on Jaaski here as he needs to make progress and make progress quickly.
You can't stop people talking about the other competitors and where they are. Fuck.
Seems to be getting a hold of that spiny section. Yeah, he seems to have it now. This is good news for him. If he can make...
Certainly not easy to slide in there.
If he can make a bit faster of a way through the falling thwomp section, he can gain a little bit of time onto Ryan here. But Ryan is definitely heavily in the lead right now. But Jaaski, like I said, consistency's there now. Not quite understanding the spiny, though.
I should probably just commit to doing a mid-jump again. It's the easiest way, I think, to slide in.
The big question now for Ryan is, will he slow down like Mathis did? Mathis had a bit of an issue, and the auto-scroller, as we saw, can cost a lot of time. Even if Ryan eventually does get that next checkpoint, if he loses too much time and allows Jaaski to catch up, we could have a closer race here. Resetting on this section can be devastating, as we saw with Mathis. And Ryan's definitely, I want to say struggling early, but not... I feel like Mathis already had a bit faster of a pace here early. Again, we didn't see Mathis's regression until later on, but he did make really good progress really early there. Jaaski's still taking early deaths there. Ryan, though, seems to be getting the hang of it now. Ooh, misses the thwomp, hits a saw. And he'll be headed back to the start. But we could see a potential, 30-minute finish from Ryan here. I want to say his pace right now is good for 30 minutes. We'll have to see how he does on that third section. And again, how he does on the second section as well. He has not reached the final jumps, and those final jumps are definitely tricky. We saw them mess with Mathis for a little bit. Jaaski having it seems like momentum is really what's hurting Jaaski right now. He can't seem to control exactly where he's going. And Ryan's still taking a lot of deaths on the track, which is an issue for him. Again, that costs a lot of time. But he has given himself a huge cushion early here. Jaaski seems to finally have that spiny section down, so he will be making progress now, but it seems like he's getting stopped on every following section, whereas Ryan seemed to blaze through that mid part. And here we go. Here's his first attempt at the long jump.
And I did it.
Will he first try it? No.
Oh! Prague you. That's a full.
Ryan looking absolutely dominant right now in this second section. Again, there's still hope for Jaaski. These resets are very time consuming for Ryan. He does take another death into the lava there. We'll listen in on Jaaski one more moment here. Struggling with this spiny.
I got scared and I pulled out, and I shouldn't have. I was on the perfect momentum trajectory, I think, but I pressed left and it fucked me. Damn it.
I think the issue for Jaaski on this section now is he's opting for a mid jump on the single spiny. And that mid jump is possible, but I think that actually makes it a bit tougher. Doing a full jump, pulling left, and then going right, I think is the general good strat there. He did have it,
I
but
didn't hold jump soon enough, so I held it like I got a mid jump.
I don't need to tell you what went wrong there. Jaaski already understands it. If he can have a good falling thwomp section.
Once again, just committed too hard on the momentum and it fucks you there.
Ryan kind of slowing down again, though. I think right now we're seeing that Mathis's pace was a bit better. And Mathis had not the greatest of paces through section 2. So Jaaski still with a chance here. Ryan falling behind again on this track. I don't know. I see Jaaski as the kind of person to do well on section 2, too. So you know, Ryan making a lot of little technical errors overall. He keeps trying to jump down onto that thwomp, which is an unnecessary thing to do. He has recovered it here, though, and has an opportunity to make some more progress. But into the lava, yet again. Whatever Ryan's strat is right now is causing some issues for him, whether it's his erratic jumps or just his timing. Like, again, jumping down into that thwomp is unnecessary, and it's really costing him some deaths and some time. It's an unnecessary maneuver. I don't know if he knows that it's unnecessary, but here we go. Jaaski, another attempt. Cannot seem to get this single spiny jump down, though. Again, he's just taking it a bit in a way that's making it more difficult than it needs to be. Ryan again with another early. He's not even making it to the mid part of the section 2. So he's taking more deaths than Mathis was, but he's also not wasting as much time because he's not getting as far into the thing. But in terms of overall progress, I still think that's bad for him. You can see he's really struggling with this early section here. Jaaski, another attempt coming up at the single spiny. Just can't make it in. We'll see if Ryan can finally get some progress going here. He can't. He's really struggling. This is a huge opportunity for Jaaski if he can just start to make some progress. But he still is taking very early deaths on this first section. Let's see how Ryan's feeling about this.
Never did I listen to Trapped and think that these are guys who are going to be like really strong rhetoricians. Apollo's ripping you a new one in the commentary. Honestly, that's how I know that I'm on the next level. That's how I know that I've become a threat. Last couple of weeks, he's been very civil. Now, they start pulling out the harmful rhetoric.
To be fair, he does have good pace now.
I shouldn't be alive.
We'll see if he can get the big jump here. His best run in a while. This could be it. Ooh,
Oh!
Pulls back.
Oh! Oh! The needle. The needle. Into the needle below.
All he needed was a little bit of motivation, and he makes more progress there. But it seems like he's immediately broke. Nope, never mind. Commentator's curse there. I was saying he broke out of his early death habit, but right back there. And again, these are the resets that cost more time. Jaaski, progress finally onto the falling thwomp, but takes the jump too soon, doesn't wait. Getting a little impatient there, but he has made progress finally. Will this be the moment of comeback? Is Ryan right back? It seems like when we unmute Ryan, he does better. So for the sake of competition, I'm going to keep him muted here for the time being. But he's still struggling on section 2. He seems to just be taking these jumps very close, I think, is his issue. Those first few jumps he takes extreme. Same with these. He just takes them very, very close to the saws. And that's causing these early deaths. If he I hate to say the meme, but if he would tighten up those jumps on level 3, he'll have a bit more consistency here. And Jaaski is just, he's hit his double munchers already. These, this single spiny has just been brutal for him. And it's just because of the manner of how he's taking the jump. Opting for a mid jump instead of that full jump gives him a lot less leeway. So while it is possible, it becomes much more difficult. Ryan has another good run brewing here, but another death because he's taking these jumps too late. And now with 20, we're suddenly at 23 minutes into this run now. They're into this game. And this is exactly what Jaaski needs, is Ryan struggling early. Or struggling on section 2 early, I mean. Into the lava he goes. He's having a bit of just a timing issue on these. We'll see if Jaaski can conquer this single spiny that's causing him so much trouble. And again, it's going to be important for Jaaski to get the falling thwomp section quickly. Ryan struggled a little bit on it, but not nearly as much as we saw Ryan or Matheson Dan struggle on it. So Jaaski understands falling thwomp. Oh, he takes a full jump though. He had the timing right. He timed it perfectly, but takes a full jump there. And that hurts because he doesn't get to see the next section. And so he will likely need a few more attempts there, unless it is possible he could one-shot that section. He is making consistent progress now, though. Onto the falling thwomp. Oh, that is so unfortunate. That should have worked. That was I hate to use this often, but it must have been a pixel away from that jump working. That is extremely unfortunate. Ryan again. Taking these jumps. So, okay, that time he takes the jumps earlier, and that might be the thing that he's been missing here for this section. He has another chance here onto the long jump. Let's see him handle it. This could be the end of Jaaski here if Ryan makes this.
Oh! I had it within my grasp.
That's a huge
We need
death.
to go to Full Send University. Full Send University.
Again, this buys so much time for Jaaski if Ryan struggles on these early sections. Again, these deaths take so much time. And there he goes again, taking the jumps too late. Jaaski needs this checkpoint, and he needs it right now.
But I think I might have to do that for completion. I might need to make that in one motion.
Good pace here from Jaaski.
Fuck, man.
Oh.
That's a shit way to die. That's such a shit way to die. I hate that. Nah, let it happen, Sam. Don't worry about it. It's always gonna happen. Plus, personally, I want to know where everyone is.
Jaaski wants to know where Ryan is in his pace, but what's happening with Ryan, like I said, I'll repeat it here, is that these early jumps for him, he understands how to do them, but he's just hitting them too late. I know I sound like a broken record here, but if he just goes a bit faster in this section, I think he'd start taking a lot less deaths. But there he goes again, takes too big of a jump. Takes another early death on the track section. Jaaski's still struggling, has regressed a little bit in his own right as well. This might now come down to Ryan's third section now. If Jaaski can't get this checkpoint soon, it then might come down to the third section. And we saw how quickly Mathis beat the third section. He beat it, I think, within close to 10 minutes. Right around 10 minutes, he beat that third section. It was too late overall, but he did inevitably beat it very quickly. So I feel like the second Ryan gets this checkpoint, the game could very well end for Jaaski. We're seeing another struggle on an auto-scroller here. This could be interesting for Ryan's future through the next few auto-scroll levels that we do have. Oh, no, there are no auto-scroll levels, but there are sections later on that do auto-scroll. Ryan, another chance here on the long jump section. Here he goes. This could be the game.
La Senza Fortress.
He's got it.
La Senza Fortress. No heartbeats. You. What the hell is even that, dude?
Ryan with insane pace. 27 minutes in on to checkpoint 3. And this is looking close to impossible now for Jaaski, as Ryan has just had an incredible run here. Ryan already understanding what he needs to do here. And now the issue for Jaaski becomes completing the level. I think that's really all he can do here, unless Ryan somehow incredibly struggles with these next few sections. Otherwise, it is going to be almost impossible for Jaaski to catch up here. I mean, this is just what can happen. I mean, Ryan is a man of consistency, so I think the second Jaaski started to falter on that first section, that was a huge opening for Ryan because of how not quickly he's going necessarily, but just how consistent he is on these objectives. He just isn't taking a lot of deaths here. And you can already see, I mean, look at this. Right over the saws, right over the spikes. Is he going to complete the level in under 30 minutes? He's over. One more jump to go. He takes it a bit low. But, I mean, this is essentially over for Ryan now. He nearly has it. I mean, how can you compete against this kind of pace? Ryan with one more attempt for sub 30 minutes here. I mean, look. Oh, it won't happen now, unfortunately, but we'll listen in here as he is
hey baby, hey.
Feeling the
Boys
confidence.
Boys say, hey baby, hey. Oh baby. That's one of the rare songs that I will say is not a good song. Don't at me.
Over the saws here.
Okay, go.
Has a chance for victory here. Jaaski onto the falling thwomp section.
Go.
His first time there.
Didn't
Ryan
believe in the full send. Didn't believe in the full send.
loses
on that one.
momentum again.
All
Jaaski
I'm
very
gonna
close
say
to the first
is that
checkpoint.
That's one of the very few No Doubt songs that is actually worse than Gwen Stefani's solo career. But I also want to tell you, I just realized if Gwen Stefani, or if Twitter had existed in the heyday of No Doubt and Gwen Stefani's solo career, I am personally calling it. I think she would be the most stand artist in history.
Big takes from Ryan there, as he is mere minutes away from potentially beating this map and being our first official map completion. A meaningless reward in terms of points, but a reward nonetheless. Takes a death on the spike traps, though. But he could very easily, and I mean almost certainly now, will be our first map completion here. And certainly not the last. With a full 29 minutes remaining, he's got plenty of time here. Even Jaaski still has plenty of time here. We saw Mathis do exceptionally well in this third section. And here we go for Ryan. He's, takes a full jump there. Understands what he needs to do, though. And it's just unfortunate for Jaaski here as he just hit a bit of a snag. He's onto the falling thwomps, though. But another death in almost the same way on that thwomp the first time he got there. This could be it for Ryan.
Fortress?
No.
That one hurt. That one hurt. Pog level, right up to here. We're about to send it off the top of the dome piece like the great glass elevator at the end of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We're taking Grandpa Joe to outer space and meeting the vermicious Knids.
Right back at it.
Send it. And a postcard from...
Oof. Stood too long.
Postcard from the podium. I'm sending them a postcard from the podium.
It'd be interesting to see if Ryan's time ends up being better or worse than Mathis's on just this section. Obviously, Ryan's time will be better than Mathis's overall, but who did better on section 3? I still think it's Ryan at the moment if he completes it in the next minute or two. But here we go. Oh!
Understand? You got to slow it very, very slightly down at the end and then send it to the axe. Axe!
Jaaski
What does
again,
axe say in
so
Dota?
close to the next checkpoint.
Axe attacks! Axe!
Ryan doing his best Dota impression there. But his consistency is looking good. Takes another death there. Jaaski finally seeming to get some consistency on section 1 here. But another full jump. We saw that with Dan a few times. Just mechanically not quite getting everything down properly. Ryan with another chance here. Onto the spike traps.
Baby, baby, baby.
And here we go.
Oh! You're a man! You're a man! We were there. We were there.
That's that issue with the full... It's not a full jump. You can't slow down. You need to just do a mid-jump that is timed properly. Mathis handled it pretty well, all things considered. And I think it might look... We might actually have Mathis have the best... I mean, of course, Mathis didn't technically beat the level in time, but he did beat it the third section within 10 minutes, I believe. And I think Ryan is approaching that 10-minute mark soon here. I'm not sure exactly when it is. Ryan with yet another chance here, as we're keeping an eye on Jaaski for that first checkpoint.
It's human meat.
See if he can get it this time. He's got it.
Imagine that.
Ryan, Northernlion,
Imagine that.
with a 34-minute, 50-second victory.
You got a problem? Isolation is the best thing that's ever happened to me. In the hyperbolic time chamber, my power level cannot be contained. Normally it diffuses into the earth. In Checkpoint League, in the middle of a global pandemic, nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me.
Congratulations to Ryan. He will take this game as well as the first player to complete a map in the Checkpoint League. Let's go see what he's saying. Ryan.
Hello.
34 minutes. How'd you do it?
Oh, you know, one second here. I gotta give a lot of respect to the level creator. I've always told you Mario is very simple. You just follow the arrows.
Well, you
You
follow
follow
the
the
arrows.
arrows and reverse engineer the way the level was created. All you gotta do is press buttons.
I mean, you showed that this map was not really too much of a challenge. I mean, so far the other three players seem to struggle on the first section more than the others, and you didn't. You flew through it, and I something like 16 minutes or something like that.
Can I be honest with you?
Absolutely.
I don't even remember the start of the level.
Yeah,
I don't remember anything except the final heartbeat jump.
You know, that's completely fair. Well, hey man, you're rising up to 3-0 undefeated.
Oh baby.
And we'll see if Justin can remain undefeated later on in his matchup today.
I look forward to it.
But I think next week you have the first rematch of the tournament as well.
Oh, me against Mathis.
I believe that is the case next week.
I am so ready. And nobody gave Mathis respect after we went 0-1 against me. We knew that was going to happen. He's come up with a win against Justin. And I mean, a win against Daniel, which I don't mean to diminish the effect of that, but still,
Yeah.
I think he's a spicy opponent. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely, and we'll have to see how it fares on next week's map. We finished a little early here. Jaaski still has a chance to complete the map for tiebreaker purposes, but you're always welcome to join for commentary. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
All right, I'll see you next week, Apollo.
Okay, sounds good. All right, hello, Jaaski.
Hey,
I'm sure you've heard, but unfortunately, Ryan has completed the level.
I've heard,
in
yes.
34 minutes. You still have a chance to complete the level yourself. You have about 22 minutes remaining for that, and that still counts towards tiebreakers. So we'll see if you can do that, and we'll check back with you at the end.
Sounds good.
All right. So now, Ryan is going to do the Ryan thing. We'll keep him up on screen here because he likes to replay levels, and I think chat has definitely said it right. Ryan's building himself up as the villain here. Ryan he's the guy to beat. He's going to be playing the villain here, the bad guy of the league. As you can see, he's even going so far as to, like I said, BM retry the level, going for the lap. As Jaaski still looking to get through this falling thwomp section. He does have a shot here. Can still get it here. No, he's gone too low now. Had a chance there, but missed that final one. And this is what we expected from these competitors. We expected someone to complete the map pretty quickly. It always comes down to those simple obstacles that are different for each person. Each player responds to different obstacles differently. We saw it with Bear last week, and we're seeing it with Jaaski this week. Just something about the spiny section and the spin jumps here aren't really meshing with the way he plays Mario Maker. And even though he's just as skilled a player as Ryan, I mean, that's why you see this huge difference in time. Yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, Ryan has completed the map. He's replaying it here for funsies. And we'll go ahead and, if you guys want to go watch Ryan continue to play, he's going to continue streaming. But for the sake of the tournament and for the sake of just keeping things consistent, we'll go ahead and cover up his stream here. So people in chat know that that Ryan has completed the map here and has claimed a win. And we are just waiting on jaaski's. With 20 minutes left, I want to say jaaski still has an extremely good chance to beat the map. Maybe not extremely good chance, because like obviously this first section is being a pain for him, but I don't see him struggling on the second two objectives, or the second two sections. I think the reason he's struggling here is just something about those two individual spiny sections is causing an issue with him. Like we said, we saw Ryan not really struggle with them. We saw Mathis not really struggle with them either once he had it down. But obviously Dan had an issue with it. And it's just going to be different for players. It's going to be interesting now to see with Bear and Justin now if any of them or either of them are going to have the same kind of issue moving forward. And this is the challenge with quick maps like this. We do have a couple more like this in the future, like I said. We will have, I want to say, at the very least, one more map that is pretty completable quickly. And then we have two more maps that are in the realm of completability. The rest of the maps, though, very difficult. Maybe not entirely likely to be completed. As since I do have a second here, I'm going to go ahead and get up the next, not the next game, but one of the streams for the next game real quick here. Up next is Justin versus Bear, or is it Bear versus Justin? Because I do have to keep it in the proper order here. Let me switch over, find the schedule here. jaaski's still trying to. I feel like the falling thwomp section is he has the same pace as other players on it. It's just him getting to that section is what's causing him issues more than the section itself. It is Bear versus Justin, so I'm pull up Bear's stream here. Just get that ready for the next round. And yeah, mid jumps are definitely a struggle. So like we saw Dan, as well as Mathis too. Both of them struggled with the mid jumps a lot, and that's the thing. That's the one thing that can cause a difference like this. And every map has its own quirks. Some maps have mid jumps, some have mid spin jumps, like this one. He has another chance at the falling thwomps here. Doesn't get a full jump.
I just didn't hold jump fast enough.
We'll bring his volume a bit lower here so you guys can have some background noise here. But you can see that he has built that consistency over time. It's just Ryan's pace was very, very, very hard to beat.
Damn it, man. I was trying to get a small hop to get onto there. But I didn't get any hop at all.
All things considered, I think checkpoint 2 is still a real possibility for jaaski here with 16 minutes left. I still don't see him struggling on that second checkpoint particularly much, but he is running low on time overall now for it. And I think the ability to complete the map has probably slipped away here.
Fucking full credit to Northernlion there, though. That's a stunning performance.
I think he's going to be too low here.
I don't think I would have made the jump, but I definitely held right too much. But I don't think I would have made the jump in the first place.
And yeah, this falling thwomp section, you got to take it quicker than you're comfortable with. That ceiling of saws definitely kind of gets in your way and makes you want to drop lower than you should. We saw that a lot with Mathis. You tend to want to lower down. And that can cost you the height that you need. But looking forward, I mean, it's going to be tough for a lot of these players, I think, to get to the pace of Ryan, because there are more maps that are like this, and he seemed very strong on these spin jump maps. We do have a spin jump map that will come up eventually. It won't be soon, but those maps, we have kind of a mix-up map, a spin jump map that's a bit different than this one, that might not really cater to the same strengths as this map does. We will talk about that map, of course, when we get to it, but it will be a fun one to see how players react to it. It is a very different style of map for sure than the one you're seeing now, but which still incorporates spin jumps. But we've seen a majority of the map types so far now. We're 3 weeks in. We've seen a spin jump map. We've seen a regular jump map. And then we've seen kind of a tech-based map, a throwing-based map. Those are pretty much the 3 styles of maps that you guys are going to see. Now, there are still other things that are different, especially with next week's map, that will, throw wrenches into those formulas. But those are generally what we will see moving forward for the next 7 weeks. And that's the kind of 3 things the players are going to need to master: spin jumps, regular jumps, and Kaizo Tech. And we've seen some players do well with Kaizo Tech. Justin did well. Jaaski did well with Kaizo Tech. We've seen players do well with spin jumps, like we've seen Ryan now. I'm sure either Justin or Bear will also be pretty strong moving forward. And we've seen players succeed in the regular jump maps, Justin as well. I mean, honestly, if Justin does well this week, I think even though Ryan had such a good pace this time, I still think I might rate Justin higher than Ryan because of how consistent Justin has been overall in terms of like tech skill. More so because of 3.8 than 3.5. But it's so close. It's so close. And we haven't even seen Justin play this week, so we don't know. Justin could not do well on the spin jump map. He might not have the spin jumps entirely down in a way that does well for him. But we'll have to see. I mean, if Justin ends up taking the final game convincingly, then it's going to be interesting. You're going to basically have 2 top players who will inevitably play each other. I don't know when Justin and Ryan do eventually match up, but that will potentially be a huge matchup moving forward. And now Jaaski with 12 minutes left, checkpoint 2 even seems pretty unlikely now, as he's just looking to maybe get to that checkpoint 1 and pass Dan for progress. Although, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that he has passed Dan anyway in terms of progress. I think Dan never made it to the final saw, whereas Jaaski has died in the final saw. So I do believe Jaaski has passed Dan at the very least. And as I said, this is good that Jaaski now knows something he needs to practice moving forward. Jaaski, I think, realizes now that spin jump maps might not be his best map, so he can practice that moving forward and be ready for the next few maps that do involve spin jumps. So even though he does get another loss this week, that is useful information going forward. And for sure, Jaaski has without a doubt he's had the hardest schedule so far. So while he is 0-3 now, you're looking at him playing essentially the 3 strongest players already. He hasn't played Mathis, he hasn't played Dan, and I think overall, not counting this week, he's done better in terms of progress overall than Mathis and Dan. He did pass Mathis last week in that map, and got very close to Mathis in the first week as well. So he struggled this week, but 0-3, we still have many weeks left to go. And I mean, it's not completely out of the question that he can make a huge comeback in the standings over the next few weeks. It's going to be tough because, like I said, I think next week Jaaski and Justin are rematching. So next week's going to be very, very important for Jaaski. If Jaaski can get a win next week against Justin and get that win in his belt, that's a really high value win. And then when he has later on in the season those matchups against Mathis and Dan, he might have a better chance getting those wins. Whereas other players like Ryan will be playing players like Bear Taffy and Justin. Ryan has not played those two players yet, I believe. Ryan has only played Mathis, Dan, and Jaaski. So two very strong competitors still remain for Ryan and his schedule. So even though we're seeing, Ryan jump to 3-0 and Jaaski to 0-3, this is really just a kind of a more towards the strength of schedule than it is strength of play. And Jaaski can still very easily make a late season comeback in terms of record. Right now, as it stands for the playoffs, the spots you want are 1 and 2. Seeds 1 and 2 are first round bye seeds. So having the first and second best record matters a lot because it guarantees you a second round playoff spot. You skip the first round completely, and that's a huge, huge bonus. So look for those top 2 players. The 3 and 4 seed will have an advantage. I have not decided what the advantage is yet, but there will be an advantage for the 3rd and 4th seed as well. So those ranks do matter too. And of course, the 3rd seed will be playing the 6th seed, and the 4th seed will be playing the 5th seed for the first round of the playoffs. So getting the 3rd seed can matter a lot because then you'll be playing essentially the worst player overall over the season. And that could mean a pretty easy first round win as well. So whereas the 4th seed might have a bit more of a challenge in the 5th seed. So all of these do matter. And we are approaching 7.5 minutes left for Jaaski here. Pretty much looking to just get this first checkpoint under his belt, much like Dan was. Has a good setup here. One jump away. I think he's got it. He's got it. Right there. Let's see if he can. We're gonna kind of gauge his progress here on this second checkpoint now, or the second section.
I'll take that. That's a win for me.
You see him taking that is a win. It's a good to do moving into the next week. Keep the spirits high. And we saw Mathis with a pretty quick. I mean, Mathis has done this twice, but we've seen him have a really quick, run through a section. Last week it was section 1 on 3.8. He had an insane run that didn't quite make it all the way. But he did that again this week on this section. He had to run all the way through really early on. Mathis has this kind of strange sight readability that he's shown off twice now. We'll see how Jaaski assesses this. He's realized now that he doesn't have to jump down there. And we'll see what kind of progress he can make here with 6 minutes left. There's a very, very, very outside shot. He could sight read it. I think it is possible. Good progress here. See if he can. Oh, he does fall into the saw there. Yeah, there seems to be a bit of confusion with both Jaaski and Ryan jumping down to that third thwomp. But both players recognizing that that's not what needs to be done. You can already see Jaaski not making the same mistake Ryan made. It would have been interesting to see if he could have caught up to Ryan here once he starts getting this down. We'll only have about 5 more minutes to see his progress here. But again, all of this is interesting to see because again, even though Jaaski did very, very poorly on the first checkpoint, he could very easily do better than Ryan on the second checkpoint here. We won't be able to probably see that, but it is possible. We saw it last week with Justin. Players react differently to different sections, and that's why the comeback mechanic is in the game. Like, each section is different from the previous in some way that allows for that switch up, like we've seen already. Four and a half minutes left for jaaski here. I mean, moving forward, like, who will be the one to take down Ryan is now the question. Obviously, we give Justin the best chance, but Bear has a shot as well. You know, Bear didn't perform too great last week. We'll see how he rebounds this week. But I think even Mathis, like, again, his performance has been consistent. If Ryan has an off week, if he doesn't do particularly well, Mathis has a very easy shot at beating him then. I mean, if Ryan keeps the pace he's keeping, I don't know if anyone can really take him down. Like, he's just been incredibly good and consistent. And I think it's his consistency that's been more impressive than his speed. He has slowed down in some sections, but when he completes an obstacle, he tends to remember how to complete it for the most part. That's very important. That's much more valuable than speed. And I think that's been his prime attribute going forward in these past few weeks. But we'll see later on if Justin, Bear, or any of the rematches can take Ryan down. As we see jaaski struggling in the same parts that Ryan did here. Just taking these jumps a bit too late. Not so much late as he's taking the jumps a bit too high there. And that jump as well, that jump you can go way up high and then fall back through. I think jaaski's issue this week is he's just kind of misread a couple of the obstacles. A couple of the more difficult jumps, he's kind of misread what to do on them. And that's what's cost him a lot of time here. Again, just a reminder, in a few minutes here, we'll have our final match of the day. Bear versus Justin. Both those players looking for a win here. Bear looking to go up to 2-1. Justin looking to stay undefeated and keep pace with Ryan here. jaaski finally making it through that coin fall, but then slipping into the lava. And yes, it looks like we will have the matchup soon here. Bear is not going to be late. So we will have the match on time. And I'm very interested in this upcoming match. I think both players have shown their strengths and weaknesses. But again, with this, as we've seen this pretty straightforward map, anything is possible. And maybe someone even is able to beat Ryan's time. I think it is. If someone has a good first section, if Bear or Justin have a good first section, I think they're pretty in line to potentially pass Ryan in time too. Ryan took a little bit extra time on the second section, and I think took about the same time as Matheson on the third section. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure if his time was better or not. I have to go back and check the tapes. But while Ryan's first section was very, very impressive, and his second section was pretty good overall, there's still time to be gained there for the two remaining players. But with 10 seconds remaining here, jaaski won't be able to reach that final checkpoint in here. And we will go have one last chat with him before the end of the run. as he drops into the lava one last time. Jaaski.
Hi.
1 hour is up. Unfortunately, again, Ryan did beat it at 34 minutes. But well, what do you think got you in that first section? It seemed like the spiny section was a bit tough for you.
Mid spin jumps, dog. They're my absolute kryptonite. Anything that isn't a full or like tiny spin jump will kill me. So that first section was set up to be like my exact you can't do this.
Yeah,
first section.
Mid jumps are definitely not easy. I think the concept is simple, but the execution is actually difficult because a mid jump isn't a specific thing. It's kind of a vague timing you need to have in the jump. So yeah, a lot of players tend to struggle with that.
I think there's a certain type of player that won't struggle too much with it, and I think Ryan is exactly that kind of player who I think is set up to do well on a level like that.
His consistency is his strength right now. But you do drop to 0-3, but I think there's no doubt that you have had the toughest schedule so far. So as we move forward, hopefully you'll have some more easier matchups in the coming weeks, and I still think there's a strong possibility that you could still place highly overall in the standings because there's still a lot of time left.
So I know I finished behind Mathis in this level. Did I finish behind Dan in this level?
No, Dan did not see the first checkpoint, unfortunately.
Okay. I know where I'm at then. Cool.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to join for commentary. I'm going to jump in and talk with Bear and Justin before their match, and if not, we'll see you next week.
All right.
That good for you?
Hello, Bear Taffy.
Oh, hi. Hello. Jesus.
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you feeling?
I'm great. I'm getting all set up because my cords are entangled.
Well, it's good to hear. Last week was a bit tough.